Well, hi, and thanks for stopping by the Pellets and Pistons Airgun channel. Today we've got the Diana Model 240, and that's not the number 240. That is spelled out as 240 on the rifle, so TWOFORTY, all lowercase, written right across the receiver. So that's a little strange. I'm not sure why they did it that way, but that's what they did. But at any rate, this is a 177 caliber youth rifle. It's got a 13.5-inch length of pull, so if you're a 6-foot guy like me, you'll find that it's about an inch too short. Yeah, you can still shoot it rather comfortably. I don't find a problem with that. It's kind of like shooting the Beeman R7 or HW30S. So anyway, we're going to take a look at three things today. We're going to put it over the chronograph, we're going to check the trigger pull, and we're going to shoot a 25-yard group with it. So this ought to be interesting, to say the least, so stick around, and thanks again for stopping by the Pellets and Pistons Airgun channel. Okay, so we're at the bench with the Diana Model 240. Now this is a Chinese-made air rifle, but it was designed and commissioned by Diana to be built in China. So the parts and all of everything about the gun was made in China, not made by Diana. But it's still the basic Diana design, which is a pretty good design. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check the trigger pull. And I'm going to warn you that the trigger pull on this gun is its biggest downfall. In fact, it's got quite a few things that are wrong with it, and I'll get into that as we move further along in the video. But at any rate, let's check that trigger pull and see exactly what it's doing. This is a 177 caliber. Again, it's a youth rifle, so it's rather small, it's rather low powered, but it's got some nice features. It's got fully adjustable rear sight with fiber optics, a fiber optic front sight that's hooded, plastic of course, because we're talking about a $100 air rifle, but still, that's it's nice to see that. It's grooved for a scope. I put a very inexpensive Tasco pronghorn scope. I think this is a 22 rimfire scope, but it does seem to focus down as close as 10 yards, so I can use it on this little air rifle. But at any rate, let's check this trigger. Let's see exactly what's going on with it. This does have an automatic safety that comes on when you cock the rifle. Much like a lot of the other Diana guns, it looks just like the one that's on the Model 34. All right, trigger pull number 1. Get ready for this. £4, 13.8 ounces. You might as well call that a 5-pound trigger pull. So that's a little bit tough for accurate shooting, but you know what? This is a tin can blaster. This is made for a young child, not that young, but old enough to have a pellet rifle, and to teach them the basics of not hunting, but shooting safety and things along those lines, and marksmanship. So this little gun should perform that task pretty well. All right, shot number 2. That's Cheeto you might see in the background. 4 pounds, 9.6 ounces. Cheeto is our newest member to the family. We got him as a kitten about a year ago, and now he's a full-grown terror. Oh, Cheeto, where'd you go? All right, this will be the final trigger pull test, shot number 3. £5, 1.4 ounces. Take an average. 4 pounds, 13.6 ounces. So that's kind of a heavy pull, so that makes it difficult to shoot very precisely out at 25 yards, which is what we're going to do a little later in the video. So at any rate, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put it across the chronograph and see exactly what kind of velocity we're getting out of this gun. Don't expect too much. Again, it's a youth rifle and it's not designed for power. It's designed to teach a kid how to shoot. All right, so stick around and we'll be back with the chronograph in just a second. Okay, so this is the chronograph test. We're going to take 5 shots across the chronograph. We'll do some calculations. We'll figure out what the average velocity is. We'll figure out what the energy it's producing is, as well as the extreme spread. So this is the big test for this gun. Let's see what it's got as far as oomph goes. Again, it's a youth gun, so don't expect a lot of power. That wasn't the objective when they designed this gun. Alright, shot number 1. 519, so 519 feet per second. That's not too shabby. Again, it's ideal for knocking over tin cans and hitting spinners out there at 10, 15, 20 yards. 503. Now, I told you earlier in the video some things about the trigger. The trigger, as you saw, has got a very heavy pull. However, it's got some other issues too. The first thing I did is take it apart and I looked at how the trigger worked and I said, I can stone this and maybe I can smooth it up a little bit. So I did. I took a stone to it and I didn't go crazy, but I must have altered the angle of the sear because 497, was that number 3, I think, yeah, shot number 3. So at any rate, I took it apart, I looked at it, and I said, yeah, I can stone this. So I went ahead and stoned it, and I must have altered the angle because when I took it back out here to give it a shot, the trigger was phenomenal. I had dropped it down, no creep, and it was probably, I'm guessing now, because I didn't try the trigger with the gauge, but I'm guessing this is shot number 4. 524. That's a little bit of a jump. So anyway, I got 2 or 3 amazing shots with a trigger pull that was probably around 1.5 pounds, and it was unbelievable. And on about the 4th shot, I went to cock the gun and it wouldn't cock. The sear would not engage. And I'm like, what's going on? It was doing fine, and all of a sudden it's not doing fine. So I took it apart again and I looked, and the metal is so soft that the sear actually wore through the piston rod at the point that it makes contact. And I probably didn't help it along. 523, that was shot number 5, I think, but let's do one more just for the fun of it. So at any rate, the gun would not cock. No matter what I did, I couldn't get it to cock. Took it back apart again, and with a file. Now, you should not be able to use a file against a hardened sear. It should not go anywhere as far as removing material. It should skip right off the metal. It got a nice bite, and I was able to change the angle of the piston rod engagement surface as well as the trigger engagement surface where it contacts that piston rod. So now I've got it back to where it was when I started. Safety on. Last shot. I think this is shot number 6. 493. So we'll take an average and then we'll put that up on the screen for you, and we'll show you what this thing's got as far as power goes. Next segment, we're going to shoot at 25 yards. That's asking a lot from this gun. We're going to be shooting at little 2-inch bullseyes out there at 25 yards, so we'll see how we do. Stick around. This ought to be interesting too. And thanks again, folks, for stopping by the Pellets and Pistons Airgun channel. Okay, so it's time for the big test. We're at the bench with the Diana Model 240 air rifle, and we're going to see what it can do at 25 yards. Now, I've got a cheap little Tasco pronghorn scope on this thing. It's a 4-power scope. I think it's designed for a 22 rimfire. It's got a duplex reticle. It does focus pretty good at 25 yards as far as you could expect a scope of this quality to focus. So we're going to see what we can do. I'm not expecting a lot from this gun. I'm hoping for tin can accuracy at this range, meaning we can consistently hit a tin can. So we're going to shoot at the target in the center frame, more or less the center. And we'll see what we can do. High and left. Now, I had taken a few minutes and zeroed this rifle before I started the video. It was in the black, so I'm not sure what that happened right there, but let's see if the next one follows suit. Yep. That was shot number 2. Now I've got some concerns about this trigger. I told you that I was able to change the angle of the sear and the piston rod where it engages with the sear with a file. So that means the metal is pretty soft. So what I'm concerned with is the longevity of this trigger, whether it's going to last or whether it's going to wear out. I'll know if it's beginning to wear out because the trigger pull will begin to get better and better and better until it's finally doesn't engage at all and I can't cock the rifle. That could lead to an unsafe situation too, so something to consider if you got a kid using this gun. You don't want that barrel slamming home unexpectedly because the sear failed, so just something else to consider. This is a Chinese-made air rifle, and Chinese parts are notorious for not being of the best quality. Shot number 3, right? Well, it's not getting into black, but it's certainly grouping pretty good. That's a tin can accuracy, if I've ever seen it. Maybe even a little better. It's a fun little plinker. It's holding them pretty tight. Shot number 4. This might even be spinner accurate at 25 yards. Get in there, you little bugger. There we go. And that was shot number 5. So yeah, I'm going to call that tin can accurate. We had 3 of them that really like to stick together there, but the other 2 kind of broke up that group quite a bit. So tin can accurate, I think, is an accurate way to describe the gun. So yeah, I'll let you be the judge of what you think of it. It's got a nice wooden stock. It's got it's cosmetically it's attractive. It's the finish on it is decent. The parts, it's surprising to see a piston rod type latch system on an inexpensive rifle, but again, that's because it's a Diana design that was made in China. It's not a Chinese design. So let's see if it can ring the bell. I don't know exactly how far over we're going to have to hold, but I think this gun's worthy of giving it a shot at the bell. Just as a way of saying it performed as expected, I would say. So let's see if we can hit the bell with this sucker. Nope, missed on shot number 1. I'm not sure how much holdover I need with the 500 and some odd feet per second that this is producing. That's a 60-yard bell, so let's try again. Oh, I don't know if you heard that. That was pretty quiet. It's like shooting a pea shooter at that bell at this range. I'm going to try once more. I think we can get it to ring a little better than that. But who knows? Might be all we're going to get out of it. This little Diana Model 240, 500 and something foot per second air gun. That's better. All right, so there's the Diana Model 240, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to thank you so much for stopping by the Pellets and Pistons Airgun channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please do that. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and by all means, hit that bell to be reminded of future videos. Thanks again, folks, and have a great day.